Okay, so CST239, this is milestone 2 redo. Thanks David for taking the time to watch this again and giving me some pointers. I totally see where I messed up. Um, and I misread stuff, so I missed that point, and I can see how the activity guides are going through certain aspects that help guide us to obviously use these tools to help make this application. So I understand that I missed that point in hard coding in the soluble products. I tried to use the new software that you recommended, which is great. I just can't screencast for some reason in it. And so we're going to go through my code this way so I can upload it to YouTube and we can go through it together. So that way we understand what we're dealing with here. So this is my storefront class. It is in my package that is named storefront. I organized some other classes in there as well. This is just my signature here as the author and last date that was edited. Okay, so we import a Java utility map entry because we are using a hash map. So this is my public class storefront, private inventory manager, which represents a hash map. Private shopping cart also represents a hash map. This is my constructor, which initializes both of those hash maps with a new hash map here. From there, we're going to go ahead and call, or we're creating a public method that doesn't return anything called initialize store. Its purpose is to print a welcome screen. And from there, I created some of these soluble products that are subclass soluble products. So I used the soluble product class as the superclass and then used armor, health, and weapon as the subclasses as I was supposed to in our assignment, and then use those subclasses to add these objects into our inventory by calling a method on one of the hash maps to add these objects into those different key locations. So with a quantity and an object being passed into the hash map, those are the two associated arguments. From there, these are some different methods that I used inside of our storefront class in order to achieve some of the operator user logic that we're gonna use within our main. So from there, I created a storefront object of the storefront class and use that object to initialize, call my initialize store method. So this is going to initialize the storefront object. Okay, call scanner. So that way we have the ability to receive something from the user, set a Boolean variable equal to false. So that way while we're running a loop that does not equal quit, it's going to prompt the user to enter the number of the product that they would like to purchase and or 0 to ring out. From there, I utilized a hash map key on our storefront object using our inventory manager class to get the inventory at the key set. From there, we're going to initialize or create an object of the soluble type name product and set it equal to the object in the hash map name entry. Creating an integer name quantity set equal to the integer value on the hash map name entry. So here we go, we have quantity, an integer, set it equal to our hash map key object with a method get value being insatiated to that object, and then print the name of that particular object in that pairing of that key of the hash map with a hash to the price and the quantity. From there, we're asking the user to then enter the product ID that they would like to purchase. Next, we create another scanner as an integer of the product ID. So we're looking to obviously take the user's input and associate it in some logic to make sure that we know what they're picking is going to associate itself to a product ID object that's in the hash map. or product ID argument, I should say, sorry, which is an integer. So once we receive, lost myself there, hold on. Just jumped a bit while it's lagging. Sorry. Okay, so we have some logic for the user entry. So it's gonna go ahead and check if it is equal to 0. And then if that's true, quit equals true. So it's gonna exit out. Else, which is what we're looking for, our soluble product object equals null. Initialize an object of the soluble class and set it equal to null. So we're going to go ahead and check our storefront inventory. This is how you parse through it. Hash map. If a user equals the argument ID parameter set, selected product integer equal to the key value for the argument ID. So if the product ID that the user's entered is equal to the actual associated argument in the hash map, then the selected product is equal to that and break out of this this for loop. Otherwise, it would have been 0, so then it would have had to quit and ring out, because the next part after you exit this for loop is checking the contents of the shopping cart, because once you hit 0 you're supposed to get a tab out. So then we use the parse for searching the inventory of the actual hash map, and then we're going to go ahead and set an object product equal to the entry.key method. The integer quantity is now equal to the entry get value method, and then we're going to go ahead and print, using this for loop, the different quantities and total price of the contents of the shopping cart, which is the counter to the inventory manager. So that's what prints out. So we can go ahead and run our code so I can show you how it works. I apologize, I feel really bad. Like, I was super happy and kind of clouded about the first week, thinking I had accomplished being somewhat prepared, and just definitely overlooked how busy I was that week with work and missed the finer details. So I would like to be at least back on a course where I can accomplish what's needed for the class. I'm hoping with a little bit of your guidance, this is something that's more manageable for me to go ahead and start utilizing some of the tools that we're learning in the book. Already kind of been trying to wrap my head around how to change this so that it can interface, as well as utilize these subclasses to start utilizing polymorphism to accomplish some of the things I'm doing with this hash map, and just get rid of it altogether. I don't want to have to utilize it, and I feel like using some of the features with the interface and final, abstract, everything, there's relationships that I can create where I don't have to sit here and beat my head against the wall for a while trying to figure out how to insatiate these objects in the hash map. I feel like I've corrupted my code so many times and had to redo it that's driving me nuts. So I just feel like it's really overcomplicated, and that there's a more simplistic way that I can utilize interfacing instead of going down this rabbit hole of studying hash maps and trying to figure out how to utilize that within what I've learned so far. It's just hitting a wall, and I don't like it. I don't think I'm smart enough or have the time to sit here and delve into this so much, and maybe I should just go back to the simple things that we're being taught and try and find better logic, shorthand, or things to make that capable of you doing what I want it to do. So as we're running the code, you can see we've initialized that storefront object and printed this. We are adding, which are, the only reason this is showing up in the print is in the add methods that are being called to that object in that hash map has a print statement, and it is another for loop that parses the hash map inventory, so it'll print the different variable arguments so that it's aligned this way. It takes a little bit of tracing back and forth between the different classes. So if you look at it, let's go ahead and find it real quick. In our storefront, in the main, it's being called right here. our add inventory function, which is in our inventory manager class. So you're going to get a system print add quantity of our soluble product object with a get name method to inventory. So added that to inventory. That's why we're seeing it down here. Okay, this is the prompt that we saw in the main, and this is the inventory of the day. So with that for loop, we can print what we've added above from the subclasses with a value, quantity, a print statement, and from there go ahead and enter 3, which will tell you you have selected chainmail. Please enter the quantity you would like. Say 10, and then it's going to ask you prompt the user again, because while that while loop does not equal false or true, in that case, because it's opposite of what we've set the variable equal to, it's going to continuously run that print statement in inventory. Now, some of the things that you'll notice now is that the quantity has changed for chainmail. That's cute, because at the same time I love the fact that it's working, but I don't know how to code in the logic to help prevent the user from putting in an invalid amount. That's kind of where the hash map's been kind of difficult for me to continuously utilize, as well as a constraint, because then I start to get confused on which methods I should change and or what portion in the code should do or be responsible for those different logic conditions. I'm working on it. So with the time that I have between work and traveling and stuff, it's tough. Anyways, from here, let's just go ahead and get to the next point. I'll pick a couple different things. So we'll add 2 more chainmails. Why not? I didn't mean to do that. We'll pick 5 small potions, health potions. So get 9 of those. Why not? Need to fight people with some stuff. So I'm going to grab 5 maces. And then from there, let's just tab out. It will give you what is available in the hash map object that was created for the shopping cart that's been transferred from the inventory of the storefront to the shopping cart. And as you can see, the totals change, and you get yourself some bronze pennies, because you're going to need a lot to get what we just picked for our shopping cart. Anyways, again, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.